The Center for Audit Quality presents Profession in Focus.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of Profession in Focus. I'm Cindy Fernelli, the Executive Director of the Center for Audit Quality, and today as our special guest we have Chris Hogan. Chris, welcome.
Thank you.
Chris is the president of the auditing section of the American Accounting Association, as well as a professor at Michigan State University. So we have a lot to talk about. And academics are a great partner at the CAQ. It's so important, the work that academics do in the auditing and accounting fields. So talk to me a little bit about some of the projects that we at the CAQ and the AAA have worked on together and what it means to the auditing section.
Our partnership with the CAQ has been incredibly valuable to us in terms of facilitating a connection and an ongoing dialogue between the academics and the practitioners. I think some of the best things that have come out of this is our research collaborations. The CAQ is a big supporter of our academic research and helps facilitate, I think, or foster an appreciation of that research with the practitioners. So we have a couple of programs that the CAQ sponsors: the Access to Audit Personnel Program, the Research Advisory Board grants, which are very important to helping us to conduct meaningful research. And also I think our partnership on the symposium that the CAQ sponsors every year at the annual meeting of the American Accounting Association. That symposium, as you know, brings together academics and practitioners, and it allows us to be informed on what are the current, issues and challenges the profession is facing, which then helps us again to conduct the more meaningful research. I think as one recent example, there's been a lot of research related to professional judgment, professional skepticism, which then helps, I think, the practitioners be able to foster that mindset in their practitioners, at all levels. So I think we've both benefited very much from that relationship.
Yeah, it's a very symbiotic relationship, making sure that academics have the resources and the topics that are important to the practitioners, and then the academics providing to practitioners better ways and helpful information about how they can go about their work. So it's really a great relationship, and we very much appreciate the support that the auditing section provides us. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about what the future auditor might look like. So we hear a lot about big data, we hear a lot about competition for the best and the brightest. How can we work together to make sure that we have the best people coming out of Michigan State and other universities that are attracted to the auditing profession?
Right. I think two things are very important. So as we just talked about with the research, just that ongoing dialogue that helps us conduct more meaningful research. But on the teaching side, I think we can work together to produce cases or teaching materials, or again, just thinking about the topics that we need to be teaching our students and the mindset that is going to be so important in practice. One area that you mentioned in particular is the technology. That's something that we're all struggling with. What does data analytics even mean? How do we teach our students those skills? I've been to several conferences recently, I think, where there's a nice partnership between academics and practitioners as we try to think about how are we going to use these tools in the audit, and then therefore how are we going to teach our students these tools. We, at the auditing section mid-year meeting in January in Scottsdale, we hosted the Excellence in Audit Education workshop, as we do every year, and the CAQ has been very helpful in that endeavor in terms of identifying the top practitioners in the area that we're looking at. That workshop in particular related to data analytics and fostering a mindset for data analytics. And so I think that's one example of, again, a very successful partnership where we are learning from practice what are the tools and mindset that are important for our students, and then we can better educate them, and in turn, hopefully the profession benefits from having well-prepared students.
I think that's definitely true. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves over the next several years.
I agree.
Now let's take a look back. Things have changed dramatically over the last 10 years. 10, 15 years
20.
in the auditing section. We won't go into exactly how many years it's been, but a lot has changed in the auditing profession, and I'm guessing a lot has changed with respect to academia and students. So how are students different today than they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago when you were starting out your career as a professor?
Right. I think it's very different. And I think in a very positive way. These students have different expectations about what their career will look like, about what their day-to-day job will be like. They very much want and expect a challenge in their job. And so the way I would say that we educate these students is very different than what we did 20 years ago when I was first starting out as a professor. We do much more interaction. We focus much more on the soft skills of teamwork, communication. We use technology much more extensively than we used to. But I think that one thing that hasn't changed is one of the great things about our profession is that you do go into it and you're working with a lot of other young and very bright individuals, which I think is, an exciting thing about going to work on a day-to-day basis. That was there when I was starting in the profession, and it's there now as well. So even though I'm no longer a young professional, I still get to benefit from the energy that these students have, and am in turn energized as I step into the classroom every day.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I like the most about my job is when I go on campus and talk to the students. So I want to thank you very much for your service as the president of the auditing section of the AAA.
My pleasure. It's a wonderful section.
That's not your day job. I know you do that on a voluntary basis, and it's just such a great section, and we benefit, we being the profession, benefit from the care and attention that you all provide to the auditing space. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you very much.
So with that ends this session of Profession in Focus. I hope you'll join me again next time when we look at another topic in the auditing area.